As you can see, there is no longer an outline on my wall. If you've watched my video on story structure, you'll know that I have a very specific and weird process to outlining, and I thought I might clear that up for you. If you're interested in how, or rather when, to outline, when you hate outlining. If you are super into outlining, this is not the video for you. I don't outline until one of 4 things happens. I get stuck. I want to figure out a potential ending so I can foreshadow. I want a solid idea of the potential structure. Or I'm on draft 2 to 4 onwards. Yes, I can take up to 4 drafts before I'm willing to outline. I'm going to talk you through a little bit more of each of those different things, sort of why I've decided that outlining is the right thing to do in each of them. So outlining when I'm stuck. I do a scene outline, which is like, it's like doing an outline but only for one small section. I start with a throwdown of the possible places the scene could go, usually beginning my ideas with everybody dies, or dinosaurs, or some other ridiculous thing that I know I'm definitely not going to use. Because then everything that I write after that is a little bit more decent and usable than dinosaurs would be. I mean, there's nothing wrong with putting dinosaurs into your novel, but it doesn't generally fit in my generally. I then go through the list of random places this could go. I pick the one I like best, and then I start the whole process again until I have a solid idea, a set of essentially bullet points of what exactly I think the scene's going to look like. For example, Anderson goes for it and tries to kiss Keeley. Keeley is surprised and jerks away. Anderson takes this as rejection and starts to lose control of his powers. Keeley grabs Anderson's arm. Anderson magic shocks Keeley. And then, because I've got this basic idea of where it's going to go, I can start writing from that point onwards. It allows you to skip over the bit that you're stuck with, but still put in the bullet points of how you're going to get from here to there when this is a blank space. When it comes to outlining to see a potential ending, it usually starts by taking stock of what I already have and scribbling it onto sticky notes so I can see it laid out scene by scene, which is what was here but is not here anymore. Then I do a throwdown of the potential places it could go to close the plot points I've opened and try and get all the way to the end and sort of close that big overarching story that is the whole purpose of writing a book. Usually I fail at this and go back to writing now that I've had a few minutes distraction, or I've got more of a sort of headlights view of where I'm going, so I can see a little bit further ahead than I could before when I was stumbling around in the dark without a torch. Outlining for structure. Sometimes I just know that I'm missing intrinsic and important parts, beginning parts or middle parts or middle parts. The middle is hard. I take stock of what I have, again using the 1 sticky note equals 1 scene methodology, and I try to leave gaps where there's room for other stuff to happen. I keep going all the way up to the point that I've stopped at, where I've got stuck or decided no, this needs something more to it, I haven't got enough to get to the end. And I see how it looks and how it reads scene by scene. Then I try and fill in the gaps, or if I fail to notice the gaps, try and pick them out to then fill them in. But my most likely reason that I've decided to outline is anywhere from draft 2 to draft 4 onwards. This is when I start to rewrite everything I've shoved down on paper. Each new scene I write or rewrite gets a sticky note that goes on the wall in the order that it's going to be in. It becomes much easier again to start noticing these gaps that I've left. And I can fill them in, or at least know where they are. I will use a different coloured pen or a different coloured sticky note to show myself at a glance where these gaps are, especially if I've thought of what could fill it, but I haven't written it yet. It's a really great way of seeing at a glance where your story needs a little more detail. It's a great way of fixing the mushy middle that I so often end up with. It provides you with the beginnings of a summary because you know scene by scene what happens in your novel, and the ability to move scenes to places they'd be a little more suited to. Scrivener has a corkboard function. If you like Scrivener, it's got a corkboard function. You could do this electronically if you're not big on sticky notes on the walls. I'm pointing. There are none, but I'm pointing. Honestly, I think making post-first draft outlines is something most pantsers and Mittelgaranders should try out. Anyone who's not really into plotting, give it a shot, see if it helps you, because ultimately, if it does, you might end up with a more cohesive story for it. If you've ended up with NaNoWriMo's 50,000 words and you have 50 sticky notes, you may want to check your levels of detail. You probably need more. If you've made it to Nano's 50,000 words and you only have 5 sticky notes, you probably want to lower the detail or figure out exactly what you mean by scene. Make a slightly bigger outline with bullet points of what happens in each of these sticky note scenes that you've decided deserve to be on the wall. Having a post-first or later draft outline allows you to more easily see where you could put chapters, where days change to night and time passes. It lets you figure out a timeline and character arcs and story points with or without structural terms, because again, structure. Give it a shot. If you still hate it, at least you know that you hate outlining for a reason. And if it's useful, great, use it to your own advantage. If you have any tips about outlining, regardless of where you sit on the pantser to plotter scale, let me know in the comments below, and hopefully you will be able to help out me or any other writers that happen to come here. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Think about subscribing to my channel. I try to post every Friday. If you want to stay up to date with my life, my work, my writing, and so on, you can follow me on social media. I am on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. My writing, my short story writing, is all available completely free over on nopoodles.wordpress.com. And if you would like to support me and what I do, there's a link to my Ko-fi account in the description below. I will see you next time. Oh, what was it called? Story structure. If you watched my video on blah, 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 blah. For example, Anderson tries to go for it. Close to the various plot points I've opened.